I'm here with Director of Outreach and Education, Jane Owens. She's someone who is extremely busy at Mountain Lake PBS, getting the word out to the community about our many educational initiatives. We only have time to touch on a few right now. One thing that we do that the parents and the children really seem to love is we have events that center around a PBS Kids program, but the events go far beyond TV. Let's take the Super Y, for example.
Well, when we have our Super Y event at the station, we invite families and children in, and we show an episode of Super Y, which is one of our very research-based literacy shows. And then we read a story based on the episode that we show, so the kids all come, they all gather together. And then after that, we have 9 or 10 activity stations set up that build on the broadcast.
Well, you had to put all the gummy bears that were the same color in the lines, but under the colors.
Almost like a graph?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every gummy bear had to be the same color, and the more gummy bears that were the same number were good, and the highest one you had was red or a color, and I had the most colors of yellow.
So it's really a very exciting day. The kids do literacy activities, like for the ugly duckling, they might make a D for the word duck, or they might make a puppet so that they could retell the story, which helps them to remember details. And we tie in some science and math activities. So they might do some initial problem solving, like make a prediction about whether an item will sink or float, or some basic number sense, because it's really important for children to very early on get involved in that language of problem solving, so they have a knowledge base to build on and to understand future science and math concepts.
I also see them interacting with actual animals.
Mm-hmm. So we really try to reach all different kinds of learners, and one of the ways to do that is to incorporate many senses. So we use the visual, and then some students are more auditory, and then those that are more tactile really respond to actually seeing the duck and feeding the duck and seeing how they interact with water. So we try to reach all different modalities.
And why is it important to incorporate the math and the science in with a literacy-oriented event?
Well, I think that it's very important to incorporate some content literacy, if you will, because those are the types of skills that children are going to need as they go forward in the 21st century, our much more technical world. The content is much more difficult and something that we need to start very early on.
Now, Wildcrats is a great example of another family event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had a wonderful partnership event at the North Country Cultural Center for the Arts, and it focused around one of our science shows where the Kratt brothers show children the different things in nature. This one happened to be about bears, and they learned all about bears, what they eat, how they travel, and then they did different activities that built on the broadcast, if you will. So we not only show the broadcast, but as one parent put it, we try to make TV connect with real-life learning. So some folks that come to our events really like that piece of it, because they can see that you not only watch the broadcast, but there's many, many things that you can do to bring that learning to life.
Yeah, and one way you're effectively making TV connect with real-life learning is by putting TV in the classroom and having the teachers and the students interact with it, like the Martha Speaks Reading Buddies program.
Yeah, that's a wonderful program. We now have it up and running in 5 schools, and close to between 15 and 20 classes are involved. And through this piece again, they learn vocabulary, which is a very, very important skill. So each episode focuses on 2 or 3 vocabulary words. For example, in Martha Speaks, one of the episodes is bullying, and words like unpleasant and compliment. And they do an activity, they do a journal writing, and then they also have a book that corresponds. And Mountain Lake PBS has been out in the community showing teachers how they can use these resources.
Yeah, I went to a classroom and experienced this for myself. Those kids really learned the vocabulary words by watching the program, by having the teacher go over the vocabulary words, and by using flashcards and other activities with older students to really reinforce the meaning of those words. They really learned. Another wonderful way we're reaching kids is through the PBS Kids Go writing contest.
Yes, Paul, we've sponsored this contest now for 19 years, so it's very much a part of the culture here. And we encourage kids to submit a story, both in words and pictures, and we support their writing skills by doing this. And then we have a celebration where we celebrate the creation of their stories. And this piece of it is very, very motivational. We've had many students who have said to us later on as they've gotten older that it was very inspirational to them to be recognized for their story writing. And we recognize all the contributors with a certificate, and we encourage them to write what in every genre works for them. So some children submit poetry, some submit, they actually have submitted illustrations that have sea glass intermixed with them. So it's really a very multimedia submission, if you will.
Yeah, I saw some of the books. They're very tactile. They have textures. And also the kids not only write, but they get to meet an author.
That's right. We always have an author, illustrator, sometimes the combination, so they can be a model to these children to see that there are people in their own area that have written books and essentially built on the skills that they're learning as young children.
Congratulations on being writing contest winners and author illustrators. I read some of your stories and they look fabulous.
So it's very motivational and very exciting for them to see, and it really in some cases has been life-changing.
Well, Jane, the education initiatives, they are on television, they are online, and with you they are in the community. Thank you so much for bringing all these wonderful education programs to the community. We haven't even begun to touch on the many things that you do, but it's wonderful that you can come and talk to us so we can learn a little more.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Paul.